and I just remember this intense pressure on my body, like I was being crushed and consumed at the same time. And meanwhile, this is happening is when I realize I can't move my body. There's nothing I can do to stop this. I can't move, I couldn't scream, I couldn't talk. All I could do was lay there with my eyes open and witness what was happening. Yeah, so way back in the day, I'm sure this was common. It was kind of around the same time that the movie Inception came out, and people started getting obsessed with dreaming, and the hot topic was lucid dreaming. And I had lucid dreams in the past, just, you know, not on purpose, they just happened. And I started to learn that there was a way to trick yourself into having lucid dreams. And the technique is all about becoming conscious while sleeping, and teaching your brain that it's okay to be conscious and to not wake up. And there's several tricks you can do. The popular one, which you see in the movie Inception, is you check your watch in your dream. Well, you build a habit in real life of looking at your watch at the time, and you look at the time twice. You make a mental note of the time, and you essentially say to yourself, okay, I saw the time, you know, say it's 12 o'clock. I look at it again, it's still 12 o'clock. But in a dream, when you look at something like numbers, and I've personally experienced this, I'm sure a lot of other people have too, when you look at numbers and then you go back and look at them again, they're wildly different, or, you know, they're not what you thought they were to begin with. Sometimes they're not even numbers, they're just illegible symbols. So by doing this, you create a habit, and you can recognize when you're in a dream. And that's the whole point, is recognizing that you're in a dream, because most people don't recognize they're actually dreaming. It's just, you know, a natural part of the brain's function. So in the early stages of lucid dreaming, you tend to wake up a lot when you realize you're dreaming, which, you know, it happens, but the more you practice this, the better you get at staying asleep. And once you become conscious in your dream, then you kind of have, you know, free reign over what happens. You have control over the world and the environment that you're in. Now, a side effect of lucid dreaming is something that I was unaware of, that's called sleep paralysis. The first time I had sleep paralysis, I was unaware of what was actually going on. And what actually happens to your body is that you become so used to being conscious while you're sleeping that you can actually wake up, and your body still keeps your mobility functions paralyzed. And so you kind of lay there in your bed awake, but you can't move. And what's bad about that is you typically get pretty scared. It's not a comfortable feeling, it's not a desirable feeling, and it instills a lot of fear. But at the same time, you're also slightly sleeping consciously. Well, in your brain, you're kind of still in dream world just a little bit, but just enough for your fear to take over and create a real life horror film in your bed. And it's the case of a lot of it's the source of a lot of claims of alien abductions. When it happened to me, I was laying in my bed at the time in my barracks room when I was in the Navy, just a wee sailor, and I remember waking up and it just being dark in my room, but you can still see things. And I slowly start to slide off the side of my bed, face first towards the ground. I make it all the way to the floor, and I'm face down, laying on the floor, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this giant, dark, monstrous figure, and it was like faceless, just this big black body that's like looming over me. And it wasn't even like standing, it was just kind of hovering over my body. And then slowly it starts laying itself on top of me. And I just remember this intense pressure on my body, like I was being crushed and consumed at the same time. And meanwhile, this is happening is when I realize I can't move my body. There's nothing I can do to stop this. I can't move, I couldn't scream, I couldn't talk. All I could do was lay there with my eyes open and witness what was happening. It became so terrifying that at a certain point I just totally snapped out of it and was 100% conscious. The body disappeared, and it was like everything just snapped back to normal. And that was, I was terrified. And the next day I told my girlfriend all about it. She was, like, whatever, you're just dreaming. And it was definitely not a dream. And I think it was not more than just a few days later, because at the time I had been heavy practicing for lucid dreaming, and I came upon this article of the side effect of lucid dreaming being a condition called sleep paralysis, and how it causes just extreme terror and fear, and you hallucinate the most terrifying things known to man, like demons crawling under, from coming out of the foot of your bed and crawling up under your sheets and working their way and and eating your body like up to your shoulders, and just really terrifying stuff. And the fear in your brain just takes control of your dream mechanisms, and it makes it do whatever it wants, whatever you don't want it to. And it was quite a rattling experience, and I stopped lucid dreaming, or I stopped practicing to lucid dream for quite a while. And then I had a second experience with this years later. I mean, this was that first instance probably happened in 2011. The second time it happened in this was 2018 or 2019. So not too long ago. And this was when I was living in Oregon. At this time, it's funny, I got a new mattress, and I can't sleep on my stomach in that mattress. I tend to sleep on my back. It was morning time, it was light. I always kept my windows open in my bedroom. And I remember waking up, and I'm laying on my back. I open my eyes, and it's bright out. It's light. This might have contributed to the outcome of the situation. need to get a little bit of altitude. I'm about to crank up the juice here, so I'll be back in a second. So back to my story. I was in Oregon, laying in my bed. It's morning time, the sun's up, it's well lit in my room. I'm laying on my back, and I open my eyes. I'm laying there for a second, and I go to use my right arm, and I was gonna go reach across myself to grab my blanket and pull it off of my body. And it was about that time I noticed that I couldn't move. I couldn't move my arm. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with my arm? So I try my other arm, doesn't work. And I was like, all right, this is really weird. I'll just sit up. Try to sit up, nothing. I couldn't move my head, couldn't turn my neck, move my legs. I was totally paralyzed. And I realized that I was having sleep paralysis. And I immediately told myself, stay calm, don't panic. It's just sleep paralysis. We've been through this. It's all based on how you react. If you don't let fear take a hold of your brain, you'll be good. And I stayed calm, and I just laid there for maybe, it felt like 5 minutes. It was probably 2 or 3 minutes. But at the situation obviously makes it feel a lot longer. And eventually it just, the paralysis wore off, and I just kept trying to move my body. That's what I was focusing on, like focus on moving your body. Just let that be the one thing you do. And eventually I was able to move, and everything went to normal. And it was okay. That was actually a really good experience, because it just goes to show that if you ever do get it, it's way more of a mind over matter thing, which is obvious because it's all in your brain. So if you end up with sleep paralysis and you realize you're paralyzed, do not panic. I think once you start to panic, it almost snowballs out of control, and that's when just bad things happen. So that's my story on getting sleep paralysis. I don't lucid dream anymore, at least not on purpose. I haven't tried it out, and I probably won't. It takes a lot of effort, and right now I've got a lot more going on in my life. So good times. Let's just fly around now, have some fun.